My name is Dag Christer Øverland. I'm come from Entra property in Norway. And I'm the project leader for Nordic built Norway. With me today I have Øystein Grønning, which is our program secretary for this competition. And Anne Margrethe Lia, which is our environmental consultant from Aspan Viak. First of all, I will say that Entra is very pleased to be a part of this competition, and we're looking forward to contribute to create better buildings in the Nordic countries. Before Øystein and Anne tell you more about the competition, I wish to say something about Entra. Entra is a leading Norwegian real estate company. We create value by developing, letting and operating attractive and environmentally leading premises. We own 120 properties, or about 1.2 million square meters. Property value is about 25 million Norwegian kroners, and we are owned by the Norwegian government. Entra's vision is to increase customers' efficiency and build their reputation. And our business concept is to create value by developing, letting and operating attractive and environmental leading premises. And our values is to be focused, honest, responsible and proactive. Then Øystein will tell you about the Norwegian competition.
Thank you. The building was completed in 1975. It's a high-rise, centrally located in Oslo, and it was built for the postal gyro services of Norway. 20 floors, 85 meters. It quickly became a hate object, infamous. The Minister of the Environment in 1986 said that let it become a national task to demolish this building. But on the other hand, it became part of popular folklore. A rock group took the name of the house, and it's still around. Songs were made of it. So it's not, you know, it works both ways. This is the building as it is today, seen from the north. The central station is on the other side of the building. And this is after a renovation that was completed 9 years ago. It was extended vertically with 6 floors to 26 floors. The facades of the 20 lowest floors are original aluminum. 51,000 square meters, about 2,000 people work in it. The energy use after renovation was relatively good at the time, and it's relatively poor now. Things have changed a lot over the past 10 years only. And it's connected internally with the central station main hall. Next, please. Now, the central station is one of the most formidable transportation hub in the Nordic countries. Everything that moves people in Norway meets there. Sea, land, air, even, with the airport express train that takes 19 minutes actually to travel 60 kilometers from central Oslo to the airport. And 150,000 commuters daily pass through the station alone. In addition comes buses and trams and metros on the outside. Next, please. Oh, that's a poor picture. Anyway, this is the harbor area. You can see the central station, and that is our building. This is the central station. Right now, this area is completely transformed. That's the opera that was opened only a few years ago. There's an enormous transformation going on in this area. Next, please. You see, from the former picture to this one, all this has come up. And this is the so-called barcode area, won by a group of Norwegian and Dutch architects. 9 years ago, I think the competition was. That's the opera. Now, there's some hairy goals. Upgrade the building to the highest environmental standards, thus launching new international goals for central business property. That's a relatively hairy goal. And it's not really an easy task. It's a lot easier to achieve all these with new buildings than with renovations. So hitting on renovation, Nordic Built has come up with a really good idea. There's a lot more to be got by doing that than only focusing what we do with the new buildings. And to offer prime, centrally located business and office space of a quality unlike anything else in terms of the technological solutions. Next, please. Now, the task is to turn the building named after its street address, BG14, into a sustainability icon. It is an icon. Not necessarily a positive one, but it is an icon. Everyone in Norway knows this building. Based on the urban development issues of centrality, accessibility, and potential for intensification. You can't pay for this renovation with the same number of square meters as we have today, or the same number of workspaces that we have today. You have to expand, and you can't do it vertically. It won't bear it. The structure won't bear it. So we have to look for an expansion that will allow for this renovation. And there's something about the high-rise building, the office tower. There's an uninvestigated ecology of it that we want to turn into an experiment. And that's probably the main focus. There's very little we can add in terms of centrality. We're on the hub itself. So the challenge is there rather than there, with the exception of the intensification. Next, please. Now, these are some of the urban development issues. We are introducing a shopping mall on ground levels. It's an income issue, of course. We need it to be economically sustainable as well. But it also allows us to connect the entrance area of the high-rise building itself better to the central hall. So it's more visibly clear where you go. And we need to improve the street level to some extent. It's pretty dreary on the side street level it faces, but we need improvements there. Now, the framework's based on the Nordic Built Charter principles. I think I'll allow Anne Margrethe to do the rest.
Okay, so based on the Nordic Built Charter, and to be able to operationalize those hairy goals, we have chosen or selected 3 different methods or frameworks to be applied in this challenge. And this is cradle-to-cradle, life cycle analysis, and BREEAM-NOR. As I'm sure you know, the BREEAM-NOR is a building certification system. Life cycle analysis is a method to calculate total impact on the environment for a product or a service over its entire life cycle. Cradle to cradle is included in this challenge as it is an important aspect for the business strategy of Entra, and will also be a very important aspect of this challenge. And if maybe you have not heard of this method before, so I'll give a brief introduction. Traditional environmental perspective, it usually seeks to reduce the negative impact, following in the gray columns. In addition to this, the cradle-to-cradle method aims to optimize or to increase the positive effect of the building, and ultimately reach this level where you have 100% positive effect from a product, or in this case, a building construction. And this is possible by following 3 principles. Principle 1 concerns the use of materials. you are to phase out all toxic materials. And as much as is possible, only apply materials which falls into one out of two categories. Either it's recyclable and can be turned into a continuous recycling circle, or it's a natural material which goes back to nature, disintegrates, and becomes part of the natural circle. Principle number 2 is the use of renewable energy. You want to use only renewable energy. And principle number 3, emphasize diversity. You are to avoid the one solution fits all. You want to take advantage as much as possible of the possibilities that is of this specific location. Yeah. So we have 3 minimum requirements for the challenge, and that is the level excellent in the BREEAM-NOR system. And in addition to this, there are some additional requirements. We require the energy performance of a passive house. In addition to this, 50% reduction of CO2 emissions, and the implementation of cradle-to-cradle strategies for minimum 3 materials or components. So this figure illustrates the documentation process of this challenge. And on this side, you see the minimum requirements. And what we are looking for, and the challenge for you, is to find innovative solutions for CO2C strategies, how to reduce embedded emission, and for the building envelope and technical installations. So to make this documentation process a little bit easier for the contestants, we have developed some tools, some help, to be able to come to these performance indicators, which we are looking for. So we have developed 2 calculators, which are easy to use. There is one material calculator based on the LCA, the life cycle analysis method, where you insert the main materials and you retrieve the total CO2 level. In addition to this, we have a heat loss calculator, which gives you the total heat loss number. To help you with the C2C strategies, all contestants will get this C2C objectives, a guideline to help you with these. And all of this and the strategies, documentations, are to be handed in a template, which actually will guide the contestants through this entire documentation process.
To be investigated also, area efficiency, improvements on floor plan principles, the expansion, which I touched upon earlier, and the market position, through architectural quality and technical qualities, to consolidate and improve the market standing of the building itself. Next, please. The rehab project is well founded on national and municipal, local sustainability, environmental strategies. We have a formalized agreement, Entra, with Future Built, which is explained in the brief. And behind Future Built, which is a 10-year program, one of the initiators and owners is the city of Oslo. So the city is behind the competition in many ways. In other words, the process risk is lowered, and that's important for the sustainability of the project itself. We may be looking at, at something else than years and years of quarreling, to put it bluntly. And coming changes that we know of the tenant structure allows for a smooth rehabilitation process, floor by floor. In the years 1914 to 15, some of the big tenants are moving out, and thus allowing for a smooth rehabilitation building process itself. Next, please. Now, what makes this BG14 project ideal in the context of Nordic built? It's a few points. We score very high already on the indicators on sustainable urban development because of centrality and transportation. The inventiveness and technological innovation, it has a strong potential on energy use improvements. In other words, answers to the important call from the ministers on product and know-how development and exports. What we find out about this building, how we can use it, the ecology of the building, can be used anywhere. The challenge is big, but whatever we find here can be used on lower buildings than buildings elsewhere in terms of the technological innovations. And that's crucial in the competition itself. And it might become a precedent example of a high reuse potential for ideas and technological innovations for urban core high-rise buildings, the CBD context. And that, of course, has relevance outside of this building, of central Oslo, and of Norway. And the strength of the owner. Entra is capable and competent, and it's eager and willing. This is going to happen. Thank you.
So, same thing as last time. Any questions? There's one right here.
You have very high goals for a BREEAM certification, and you have put the tools for us to use to gain that. Is that something that's common for all the projects in the different countries, that it's good to have a BREEAM certification? Or can we use the tools on other projects also? Or is it only the Norwegian project?
For the Norwegian contest, at least. Yeah, it's made for the Norwegian contest.
Are you interested in buying the concept? No, I think our intention has been to lower the threshold, make it easy to compete. It's primarily a help for the contestants, but it's also a help for the jury, of course, in comparing. If they are adaptable to the other competitions, fine. This is a Nordic endeavor. Use it. That's a good answer, isn't it?
I like it. So yeah, if it's used, if it's of use in the other competitions, please take them into account. Focus specifically on BREEAM. And I can say, unfortunately, we don't have the same certification systems in the Nordic countries, or we haven't focused on the same certification systems. So that might not be applicable in the other competitions. Any other questions? Thank you, then.